Hello, I am Mark Patterson, and this is my lovely wife, Kelly, and we are going to give you some history about our church, and we are coming to you live from the upper room at Marion First Apostolic Church. At the present time, this is being videoed.
With our trusty assistant, Brother Brian Staley, for whom, if it wasn't for him, we would not have this video, so just saying.
Would you like to start?
I'll start. In 1943, Reverend A.D. Van Hoos and Reverend Chester Evans, along with their wives, met with the intention of starting a tent revival at the Williamson County Fairgrounds in Marion, Illinois. There were a few believers in Marion at the time, but not an established church. A revival began and many were filled with the Holy Ghost. When the revival ended, the group moved to the City Hall of Marion and held regular services. I'm guessing on the square. The Holy Ghost continued to be poured out, thus adding more members to the church. Pastor Van Hoos, who was also pastor of Radio Tabernacle Church in Herrin, encouraged Reverend Sister Evans to continue to work in Marion.
In 1945, Pastor and Sister Evans, along with new members, made tremendous sacrifices to start a new church. New ground was purchased on Vicksburg Street, and a new building was erected. To purchase this ground, Pastor and Sister Evans mortgaged their home, and the church members sold many dinners of chicken and dumplings, and the church still stands at 205 North Vicksburg Street in Marion, Illinois. However, at the present time, not in very good condition.
No, it's barely standing. Pastor and Sister Evans pastored the Marion Church for 15 years. Over the years since that time, the church has been pastored by the following men: Reverends Jack Cathcart, Ralph Dooley, Darrell Hinkle, Robert Miller, Walter Raines, Joe Webb, Ronald G. Walls, and our current pastor, Reverend Joel Gray.
In 1977, 3 acres of ground was purchased at 923 North Bentley, the present spot of where we are right now. Construction of our current church was started in 1979 and finished in 1980. In 1986, we saw the addition of our Family Life Center, which originated as Colonial Christian Academy. All buildings were paid for by sacrificial giving, peanut brittle sales, and many chicken and dumpling dinners.
Yes, many. In our quest for historical information of Marion First Apostolic Church, we interviewed some of our longest standing members with ties to original church members. We could not get them to be videoed, so here we are. And this is what we learned. Number 1, it's yours.
We have about 7 or 8 questions, and these are the responses to those questions. The first question: what is your first memory of the church? Sister Verna Patterson: I played the organ and I taught the high school and young adult class. Brother Ronnie Ellis: we had good services with lots of singing. The Moss Trio was really good. Sister Sandy Moore has been a member of Marion First Apostolic Church since birth. We won't give away her age. She has a lifetime of memories. Brother David Moore: he started coming to the old church on the church bus van when he was 10 years old. His older brother Charles and his future-to-be father-in-law, Brother Kenneth Kelton, were the bus drivers. The church bus is also where David began a very long-term relationship with his future wife, Sandy. She had to ride the church bus with her dad because her mom had to work most Sundays as the head of the cafeteria services at Marion Memorial Hospital. The bus stopped by the hospital for her mom to fix Sandy's hair before going to church.
So they met on the bus. Brother Mark, oh, that's yours still. Go ahead.
Oh.
You want me to read it? You go read your own.
You go ahead.
Okay, Brother Mark's family transferred to Marion First Apostolic Church from Pulleys Mill First Pentecostal Church when he was about 7 or 8 years old, he thinks. There were more young people at the Marion Church. As a result, he gained lifelong friendships with the young people at Marion First Apostolic, but especially David Moore and Sandy Kelton Moore.
Brother Randy and Sister Judy Cluster moved to Marion from the Peoria Church in 1977. Randy's mother, Sister Mary Williams, had grown up in Southern Illinois, but had moved to Peoria as Randy was growing up. Sister Mary was one of the original church members who received the Holy Ghost at the age of 17 during the ministry of Pastor Evans. Randy's sister Kathy had moved back to Southern Illinois and married. Sister Mary and her husband, Brother David Williams, shortly returned to Marion, and then Randy and Judy also returned.
Question number 2. What did worship services look like way back then? Sister Verna said church was similar to our services now, except we had more instruments. We also had more congregational singing with someone leading the singing, and she added, I sure miss that. Brother Ronnie said we had a choir, trios, quartets, and solo singing. We also had more instruments. It was like a rock and roll band. David and Sandy Moore remembered that we had testimony service, prayer requests. People went to the altar without an invitation. Just sometimes people would go up during the middle of a message to be prayed for, or the middle of a song. Sister Ethel Kelton was a shouter, and Sister Shirley Kelton and Sister Ruby Moss were the screamer shouters. That's what they remembered. Randy and Judy said we have always had good worship services. We used to have more shouters, like Sister Ruby Moss and Sister Shirley Kelton. We also had regular youth services every Friday night, and there were regular sectional and youth rallies. It seemed like almost every month, but for sure every quarter. We went to church a lot. And question number 3, what instruments did you have? Everyone answered the same for this one. Everyone remembered. We had a grand piano, an organ, a variety of guitars, several guitars, accordions, several accordions. We had a bass fiddle. We had drums, a regular set of drums like we have now, jazz. And then we also had bongo and congo drums, the short and the tall. We had horns, trumpets, saxophones, and multiple tambourines that would come in at times. Sometimes people just brought them in, played them from the congregation, especially during rallies. That was a big thing, tambourines.
I won't say what I was going to say. Tell us when you got baptized and received the Holy Ghost. That was question 4. Sister Verna, and this was some information I didn't know but was very pleased to hear. She was baptized in the creek below Pulleys Mill Church. And for everybody who's familiar with Pulleys Mill and the highway, that's the creek that runs under the bridge down by Pulleys Mill. She received the Holy Ghost with her head lying in Francis Thornton's lap around age 12. Brother Ronnie, he was baptized and received the Holy Ghost at Pulleys Mill Church before moving to Marion. Sister Judy Cluster, she was baptized at the Pentecost Church in Peoria when she was 10 years old, but she received the Holy Ghost while attending camp at the Murfreesboro campground.
We both remember the Murfreesboro campground.
That
was a big thing.
We both went to the Murfreesboro campground numerous times. David Moore received the Holy Ghost on March 16th, 1972 at the 16th Street Pentecostal Church in Herrin. Brother Walls later baptized him at Marion First Apostolic Church in April of 1972. Sandy was baptized when she was 10 years old in the old church by Pastor Brother Webb. She remembers it being near Valentine's Day because she had brought Valentine cards for her friends before the service, but the service lasted so long that many had already gone home and she didn't get to pass out her Valentines. Sandy's mom, Sister Shirley Kelton, was baptized in 1960. She was 24 years old and expecting Sandy at the time. Brother Robert Miller was pastor at the time, and Sister Miller was worried about Sister Shirley getting baptized in her condition and wanted her to wait until after Sandy was born. But Sister Shirley, and I can confirm this, is pretty stubborn. She got baptized anyway.
So Sandy's been baptized twice, sort of.
Myself, I was baptized in the old church by Brother Webb or Brother Raines, I'm not sure. I think Brother Webb. And I received the Holy Ghost during a revival with Sister Bernadine Caldwell in September 17th, 1970. The main thing I remember about it was I was laying flat in the floor speaking in tongues for a long time.
Mm-hmm. I also received the Holy Ghost in 1970, but I was at West Monroe, so...
There you go.
Yeah, February. I was not...
What a coincidence.
I was 9. Okay, question number 5. Do you remember any revivals specifically? Sister Verna remembers the revival with Sister Bernadine Caldwell and said she probably did some shouting during that revival. Brother Ronnie remembered having a good revival with Brother Lucas from the Vandalia Church. Brother David Moore remembered a revival with Brother David Willoughby. Our church had bought Brother Willoughby a new set of tires as part of his payment for the revival because the one he had on his car were so badly worn, they were worried he wouldn't be able to make it down the road to the next revival. Brother Willoughby later preached at a general conference, but he lost his life in an airplane crash. The rest of us remembered long revivals of as many as 10 weeks, at least, with only one night off, and usually that was on Monday.
Question 6. What outreach did we use? Sister Verna. We just had people talk about God in our church services on our own, and we went around verbally inviting people to church. Dave and Sandy and myself, we remember helping with visitation on Saturday mornings. The bus drivers took us young people, anyone who wanted to go, and dropped us off out in different neighborhoods. We went up one side and down the other of the streets, knocking on doors to invite people to church, handing out tracts. They went in different sections of town each week. Brother Randy, he became Sunday school superintendent in 1984, following Brother Bill Patterson, my dad, who served for years at the old church and the transition to the new church. Through the years, they did Sunday school drives for outreach such as giveaways, bicycles, other items like a wheelbarrow contest full of toys and filling the pew.
Filling pews was a biggie. Question number 7. What fundraisers did you have to do? We had matching answers to this one. Everybody remembered peanut brittle was the main fundraiser from the old church. Sandy said they put the pans of candy down on the basement concrete floor so it would cool faster. David, the contractor David, pointed out that the kitchen was only about 10 by 10 feet total, but somehow they managed to produce an awful lot of peanut brittle. The process for selling peanut brittle was much the same as the outreach process. The church van would come up to the high school, pick up the young people from the high school at the end of the school day, and then drop them off in neighborhoods to go door to door selling bags of peanut brittle candy. Chicken and dumpling dinners were also mentioned as a major fundraising source, but the dinners really began to get big after the Colonial Christian Academy was built. The new church building had no fellowship dining area until the school was built. The old church continued to be used as a fellowship hall when one was needed. After a larger space was created, chicken and dumpling dinners were served one Saturday a month through the fall and winter months, and they took breaks during the summer months. They sold as much as $2,000 worth of chicken and dumplings in one day back at that time.
Question number 8. What do you remember about moving into the new church building? First of all, let's begin with Brother David Moore's response to this question, since he was our contractor and builder extraordinaire for the new church and Colonial Christian Academy. He has some interesting insights. He still has the blueprints, and his initials are carved in the concrete in the furnace room. Our current church building was not planned as the permanent sanctuary. It was designed to be temporary, with a larger sanctuary to be constructed later in the round grassy area just north of our building, encircled by what is now an asphalted parking lot and drive. So we do not have our new sanctuary yet. Our sanctuary was originally plumbed to serve as the future fellowship hall. That is why the original building did not include a baptismal tank. It was added later, and so was a sound room. As it turned out, Colonial Christian Academy was built instead of the new sanctuary. So until the school was built, dinners, parties, and receptions, such as for Rick and Susie Calton, who were the first to be married in this new church that we're in, those took place in the old building on Vicksburg Street. Sister Judy said that both of their girls were baptized at the Craneville Pentecost Church because our church did not have a baptistry at the time. Brother Ronnie and Sister Verna both recalled that it was good to have a bigger, nicer building with much more parking space. It's especially nice now that it is paved with asphalt, because back then it was all gravel drives and parking, car parking. We all reminisced about the tornado that tore through this area of Marion in May of 1982. It caused major damage to our church neighborhood, including the shopping center where Rural King now stands and the Shawnee Village apartment complex. Our church withstood some exterior damage, including there were some large splinters driven in the bricks at the side of the church. And it was amazing to drive through the area and see the devastation, but our new church building was still standing with just minor damage. One thing I remember personally, because we drove up from Corville after we heard a tornado had hit our church, was coming and seeing, when we drove in the parking lot, a huge 2x6 or 2x8 foot board driven straight down in the ground. They later dug it up and it was buried over 2 feet in the ground. That's how far it had been driven. There was also a similar board, 2x6 or 2x8, sticking in the roof right of the church. It was in the church part, not where we are sitting right at the present time, but driven straight down through the roof. I remember that personally. Our church family was united in thankfulness, and we felt so blessed and grateful to have our church protected from the storm, especially when we seen the damage in other parts of the town, and people lost their lives that day.
Yeah, that was terrible. To this day, Marion First Apostolic Church still stands strong as an emblem of hope, love, and service within the Marion community. We are united to shine.
I want to read Matthew 11:14-6. You are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hidden, nor do they light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a lampstand, and it gives light to all who are in the house. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven.
Mm-hmm. In Matthew chapter 16, verses 18 and 19, Jesus was speaking to Peter, and he said, "On this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. And I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. And whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven."
I would just like to say I'm very proud to be a member of this church and the original church. And I hope I'm here many more years to see a new sanctuary built one of these days if we continue to grow the way we are at the present time.
That'd be great. And it will have a baptistry and a
That's
fellowship hall.
Fellowship hall and sound room.
Yes, make sure those are included. All right. Thank you all. Bless.
Hope you liked our talk.